Hello, everyone. Welcome to another amazing expert workshop as part of the 21-day Content Habit Challenge. Hi, Katie. Hi, Paul. Let us know in the comments as you join. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bona Rai. I am one of the three co-founders here at Capshow, and it's been the team's greatest pleasure to be teaming up with the amazing Ecamm fam to be hosting you as part of the 21-day Content Habit Challenge. If you're tuning into this and you're like, I don't really know what that is, make sure you sign up because we've been having the best time building a new content habit and kind of creating content with intention as part of a community of really amazing content creators. So definitely go ahead and sign up if you haven't yet. We are only at the start of week 2 and it's happening for 3 weeks, so it's not too late to join. Hi, Sheila. All right, so yeah, it's a dreary old day here in Austin. I'm coming in from Austin, Texas, and it's weirdly been rainy and really, really dreary. So let me know in the comments where you're coming in from. I would love to know, and hopefully it's a lot more sunshiny and beautiful where you are. Okay, so those of you who've been following along are probably pretty used to seeing my co-founder Deidre lead these. So unfortunately, well, fortunately for her, but unfortunately for us, Deidre is living her life and having the best time in Italy. So I'll be doing these workshops over the next couple of weeks. So definitely, I'm so glad to have you here as company. And we've got some amazing workshops available for you with some really cool guests. So before I get to the amazing guests that we have in store for you today, a little bit of housekeeping for the challenge for those of you who are following along. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and download the Challenge Hub, which is basically all of the information you need about everything to do with the challenge in one spot. So basically, there's a lot going on in the challenge. We've got daily prompts. We've got, like weekly, weekly Monday motivations with Doc and Jenny. We've got these amazing workshops. We've got bingo. We've got the works. So it's a lot to keep up with. So make sure that you go ahead and scan that QR code and download. It's not really a download, I should say. It's like a web page that actually is, kind of can be saved locally as you able to save things like bingo. So make sure you go ahead and get that if you haven't already. And just a reminder that as part of the challenge, we've got these amazing prizes up for grabs. So as part of our, our daily prompts, as part of bingo, we've got some really cool prizes to share with you. So make sure you go ahead and get involved if you haven't been already. And speaking of prizes and recognition, we also have badges up for grabs. So we are currently in week 2 of the challenge, which means that the week 2 badge is up for grabs. So there's been a little bit of confusion around the badges, so we apologize for that. But basically, you can earn badges on a weekly basis for completing each of the daily prompts for every day. So there's 5 weekly daily prompts every week. So we're in part of week 2. You will have seen in the Facebook group that the weekly kind of theme has been set up. So as long as you complete each of the daily prompts for week 2, you'll be able to earn yourself a cool, very cool badge. All right, so enough about all of that. Now, the other cool thing we've been doing, because we've been so incredibly inspired by all of our content creators as part of this challenge, is we have been doing a Content Doodle Do spotlight. And today's spotlight is on Martin. So according to Content Doodle Do, Martin's content has been criminally good, and I can definitely vouch for that. Martin's been creating some amazing videos and social media content, and you don't have to join the group and check it out. He is also, from what I hear, an incredible creator of Ecamm overlays. So if that's something that you need help with, he is the man for that, apparently. So a shout out to you, Martin. Thank you so much for inspiring us with all of your creations so far, and keep it going. All right, let me do a quick check of the comments here. Yay, welcome. Yes, the gamification has been super fun, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Yes, Martin McKenna is amazing, Katie. You are absolutely right. All right, so definitely now keep the comments going and the questions going if you have them. So a little bit about today's topic and our guest. So we have the amazing Krystal Nichols, who is a social media expert. She's a 7-figure business entrepreneur. She's been a digital marketer for many, many years. And she has this really incredible community that she's built. And she's basically really, really a genius at helping people make money from home. So people who may not traditionally have the, the ability to do the time and things like that, actually have a fully in-person business. She's been able to help people scale, their lives and their businesses digitally for many years. And she's a real expert at social media. So Krystal has recorded some incredible training for us that is specifically to do with Instagram and really as it relates to Instagram Reels. So as part of this challenge, we've obviously been creating video clips and lots of video content. And this workshop will kind of really hone in on the 6 steps that Krystal follows, and she's taught many others to follow, to basically get your Instagram Reels to have more reach and go viral. Now, I know going viral is not like the be all and end all. We're not here to become celebrities overnight, but really it's about virality with the almost a lens of like a greater reach, but also for your target audience, because that means the reason something goes viral is because it actually creates something shareable. And there's a magic in shareability, because it means that your audience has really resonated with what you've just created, whether it's because it's funny, whether it's because it's touching, whether it's because something that's really kind of blown their mind in a small way or big way. So that's really what the lens on this is. Like I said, it's not about becoming an Instagram influencer. It's really thinking about how do you bake in shareability into your content. So Krystal's the expert in that. She's going to go ahead and show us that. Even though Krystal's not here with us live, definitely keep your comments going and questions for her, and we'll make sure that either we answer them or Krystal can get them answered for you as well. But for now, just make sure that you take notes. Krystal goes through these things pretty quickly, and we'll make sure that we'll get your questions answered as well. So let me just cue up the video and over to Krystal.
Hi there, Krystal here. I am so excited today to take this journey with you guys and teach you a little bit more in depth of what it looks like from going to being someone who consumes a lot of content to transitioning to somebody who creates the content for that consumer to consume. So we want to be the creators of the consumed content, not the ones who are consuming it all the time. Does that make sense? Because if we're the creators, we hold the power in the social media world, and we are also the ones that are getting the visibility, and we're able to sell our digital product, whatever that looks like, right? So that's really, really important. So let's dive in, get you a notepad, a pen, take some notes. I'm going to give you some free tools today because I've got some things lined up to give you that are going to make your journey so much better, so much easier. And we're going to have some fun while we do it, because that's exactly what this is all about, having fun. If we don't love what we do, if we can't get to the point where what we're brilliant at and what we love collide, there's no point in doing it. And this is so much fun. It really is fun, especially when you get it figured out. And I'm here to help you. So let's get started. So I'm Krystal Nichols. I have been in the social selling, digital marketing, MLM world of online sales for over a decade. I started in this industry when I was 29 years old. So I was very young and super green. I had zero experience when I came into this. My first platform that I started building on was in Facebook. Had a lot of success with Facebook and grew my first multiple 7-figure business solely from Facebook. Used a lot of group strategies. I own several groups, I think 7 total. My biggest group has 364,000 members in it. I've got a group that's got over 20,000 members, and then I've got some smaller groups that have just several thousand. So group strategies are definitely a very viable way to build online. Still are. I still use them. I still use Facebook. I feel like I've mastered Facebook with organic sales strategies. And so about 6 months ago, I decided to dive headfirst into the world of Instagram and TikTok. I was only a consumer of the content over there, especially TikTok. And to be totally truthful with you guys, the only reason I was even on those platforms was to keep an eyeball on my teenage daughters, because I am a single mom, a divorced single mom of 3 girls, and I wanted to stay up to date on everything that they were doing on social media. So I thought, well, this is my livelihood. I can figure this out. So I thought, well, if I'm going to figure this out, I'm just going to go ahead and get really good at it and go ahead and monetize it while I'm at it. And since then, I get paid for my content on Facebook. I get paid for my content on Instagram. I'm working on doing the same thing on TikTok. I've had reels go viral on TikTok, Facebook, and I think I've got 10 viral reels on Instagram. To be honest with you, Facebook and TikTok were easier for me to get the reels to go viral on. Instagram was honestly the hardest one for me to conquer, but I finally got it figured out. And I figured out how to not only get the reels to go viral, what that checklist looks like, how to get followers from it, and then how to monetize that. Because there's no point in having a reel that's going viral if you don't make any money from it, right? Like, oh, cool, you have a viral reel. Well, your teenager might think that's cool and they're friends, but it's not putting, checks in my bank account. So I don't think it's that cool. I want to monetize it from there. I want to take it a step further. Does that make sense? And honestly, I've built my whole multiple 7-figure online empire by teaching people organic growth strategies with small followings, right? So for me, it was very simple to take what I had learned and I had taught and apply it to going viral and then making a few tweaks to where we could monetize that as well, okay? Because don't panic if you haven't been able to go viral and you can't figure it out. The checklist that I'm going to share with you today and the training is going to help you tremendously. But in the meantime, you can still make a lot of money and monetize your Instagram with this same strategy, even if they don't take off and go viral. This will make them better. This will still help you niche down, and this will still help you get in front of your audience, which is going to be really warm for you to sell to. Okay. And here's why. So basically, my first love in social selling was MLM. And so I learned a ton on how to market from my first MLM company, how to build a team, how to work with people, how to do things across the board. And that was a very valuable experience for me. But like I said, I grew on Facebook primarily. Now, the only thing about that is Facebook and Instagram, although they're owned by the same company, Meta, they're very different, okay? On Facebook, let's see here, how do we put this? You can be more organic, you can be more authentic, you can kind of be a little rough around the edges and still have a following and still have a fan club, right? On Instagram, you better figure out what you're talking about and you better stick to it or they will chew you up and spit you out, right? So on Instagram, a couple of things that you need to have in place, right? Before you even figure out what you're going to do for your reels. You need to have your micro niche figured out, okay? What's a micro niche? A micro niche is something super, a really narrow road on which you're going to take to attract people. It's not what you're selling. Now, it can kind of correlate around what you're selling, but it's not necessarily what you're selling, okay? And we'll get to that here in a second. You may have to play around with your micro niche on Instagram. I know I did. When I started off, I was like, oh, I'm a homesteader. I love to bake sourdough. I have chickens. We have horses. We rodeo. I live on a horse ranch. I have girls. I have kids. I am a mom. That was all over the place. So I started doing some testing, okay, within my pillars because I had my 5 pillars, right? Everybody on here should have their 5 pillars and know what that means. So I started doing some testing within my 5 pillars of what the micro niche looked like for me. And interestingly enough, so then I would create content in those pillars, right? So interestingly enough, I figured out that salty, sarcastic mom of 3 girls was my micro niche. And it made things really simple for me because that's who I am through and through. Everything I do really encompasses around that. And so I started building my content and my hashtags around that micro niche. Does that make sense? Little fun fact. Check your hashtags because teen mom and mom of teens are completely different. I'm not a teen mom. I'm almost, 40 years old. I'm 39. So teen mom hashtag was not my jam. So funny little side note, check your hashtags, make sure they fit with what you think they're going for, right? Because teen mom, not the same. Thank you, MTV, right? Anyways, I digress. But it is important to know that and to get that narrowed down. So with that said, when you are building out your Instagram, it's okay to beta test that and play around with it. You've got to get really good at looking at the insights and the views. And what's going to help you with that most is creating short form video and or reels. Now, all of the same thing is applicable on TikTok as to what I've discovered. Now, that doesn't mean that your micro niche is going to be the same on Instagram as it is on TikTok. That's okay. You'll figure it out. Actually, interestingly enough for me, my micro niche on TikTok mirrors more of my Facebook, not so much my Instagram. Interestingly enough. I don't know how that works, but it just does. It's interesting. So, but I've played around with it a lot and I figured out what my TikTok likes, what my Instagram likes, and what my Facebook likes. And I feed that micro niche that content. Does that make sense? But I have a broader scale of content that I can produce on Facebook versus Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so Instagram and TikTok are similar in that matter. Now, that doesn't mean that your micro niche on Instagram and TikTok won't be the same. They could be, especially if you're creating a new account. But I'm assuming most of the people on here getting this training already have an account. You already have some data to work from. Okay, so you're going to really want to play with short form video and make it within your micro niches. Now, I have got a PDF for you guys. If you want to drop the word format below, I will get that to you to teach you and to show you and help you to identify which type of formatted short form video you're going to produce, because not everybody's the same. I love producing trending audio. To be honest with you, it's the hardest. I kind of wished I hadn't picked that format, but I have, and I like it, and it fits my persona. It fits who I am, and it fits the audience that I'm reaching out to, okay? It also makes it a little bit more difficult because there's a few key components that have to be in every video, including my face, and my face isn't always video ready. So sometimes you get like crazy homeless looking, a little disheveled Krystal. You don't get like put together hair and makeup Krystal, right? Actually, you get more of the disheveled Krystal majority of the time. But that's okay because I have figured out how that works. Now, how you're going to figure that out is you're going to start watching the insights, okay? We're going to dive a little bit deeper in this training also, but you're going to start noticing the insights. You're going to start noticing, right, the viewers and how many views you're getting on each of those videos. That's going to tell you what is trending, what Instagram and TikTok are sending out to a bigger test pool of an audience to see if they like your content. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you've been creating short form videos, go back and look and see which ones have the most views. Okay? And that's probably a really good indicator of a path that you could stay on. Now, if those videos had a lot of views and they're kind of old, like maybe they're 6 or 7 months older, you may need to kind of redo some beta testing, okay, in this area. That's okay. It's not hard to do. Just start making some and see where they go and then kind of get on the path. Does that make sense? So I wanted to preface that for you guys very first off because it's important that you understand what to even study before you start putting this checklist into place, okay? The format that I'm going to give you, the little format sheet, will help you narrow down what kind of videos to make. So say format sheet if you would like to have that PDF. Trust me, you're going to want it. It's invaluable. It will really help you. Okay, so let's jump right in, okay? So like I said, I have been on my Instagram and building my Instagram following for, I think right at 6 to 8 weeks. Like I really haven't been doing the things that long, but I have learned a tremendous amount in this time. And although I wouldn't say I'm the be all end all stop for Instagram, I can teach you a lot because I understand social media so much because I've built, like I said, a multiple 7-figure income on it in the last 10 years. And so what I've learned about Instagram is you can do a few simple things and you can really make a big change and get some followers. So in the last 6 to 8 weeks, like I said, I've created over 10 viral videos by sticking to this checklist. Okay. So I'm not coming to you as somebody who's been doing this for years and years and years and years and has all this time under my belt, because guess what? Those people, their stuff is really becoming irrelevant because how they built those followings and got those views on those videos is not really relevant anymore. But what I'm going to teach you is because it's working right now, currently. And that's what you need to know because things are always evolving and always changing. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing on your checklist, you're going to want to write this down. We're going to have 6 things on your checklist that every video should have, is a great hook. okay? This is the most important part of your video. It's in the first 3 to 5 seconds. And it's what's gonna stop the scroll, okay? It's literally like when you're sitting there and you're scrolling and you're like, and you stop. That's what you're looking for, okay? That's what you need. And you're like, okay, great, Krystal. How do we know what's gonna stop the scroll? Well, a couple of things. You can start looking and seeing what you're watching and what's grabbing your attention, because chances are you've got your micro niche in your algorithm built in already, right? Like I said, I'm a salty mom of teens and I have a lot of humor and some salty divorce mom stuff too, because it's just my real life, right? So I can laugh about it or whatever, but we might as well just cash the checks and take it to the bank, right? Because it's real. So you can kind of start looking and seeing what grabs your attention. Or if you would like, I'll just give you my free hooks PDF and you can still watch it, but then you can have my free hooks PDF. So say hooks below and I will get that to you. And you can start using my free hooks that I have tested time and time again that work really, really well. I've created a lot of them and I've gathered some of them from my coaches because I have worked with some amazing coaches that have helped me tremendously. So compiled them and they're tried and true and tested. I'll get those to you. Okay. Okay. So 2 elements of a good hook is the messaging and or the visual. This tells the viewer that they're going to want to stick around till the end. I'm going to tell you, unless you are a super skilled dancer, singer, you can do acrobatics, maybe you have like some crazy cool talent that you can showcase right from the beginning, it's probably going to be messaging. I don't really have any crazy cool talents that like I can do on a camera, and goodness knows you don't want to see me dance. So like all those little girls who are out there dancing on their little Instagrams, I'm, oh, that's cute, and I watch it, but that's never going to be me, right? So I rely on my messaging because that's where you're going to get a hook from me, okay? So that's super critical to know. The hooks are going to promise a good laugh, a good experience, right? They're going to promise you that they're going to be entertained. It's going to tell your viewer that for the 3 to 15 seconds that they're engaging with your video, right? And you're trying to get them to stay around to the very end because watch time is really important and we're going to get to that. But that they're going to have a good experience and that they're going to be entertained. They're going to get that rush of dopamine from like entertainment or thought or something that's going to come from your content. And that's really, really important. Okay. So, I can just kind of explain to you guys, tell you about one of my hooks. So this is one that I have used and this a similar version a lot because like I said, salty teen mom, mom of teens, not teen mom. So one of my favorites is to all the teens who are being raised by 80s babies who barely survived the 90s. We didn't have curfews, we didn't have cell phones, and our parents couldn't spy on us from social media, right? That's kind of the hook. And then it says, how's Life 360 treating you? And I'm telling you, that one makes my day every single time because that is real life for me, right? So just to give you a little bit of insight, that's one of my favorite hooks that I've used and had a lot of success with. That's actually one of my trending, really high trending videos that's gone viral, okay? Another really hot tip is to watch the hooks that you're using and see what is grabbing the people's attention and just take that verbiage and rewrite it. And that's a really great tool that we have with the Capshow app because Capshow will help you repurpose your content and your thoughts. So when you have a really good hook, especially when you start to learn this, you're going to start being able to make your own. Capshow will help you repurpose that with their AI writer, which is amazing, right? Because it's going to sound like you. It's just going to take a little bit of your thought process and be able to put a little bit of spin on it. So it's really cool. Okay. Okay. So the hooks are super important. So you can also use B-roll in your video. I do use some B-roll when I'm creating any of my video formats. B-roll is really easy because you can just throw the hook on there. You can put a trending audio and then we're going to get to this, but then you just get to the payoff, right? And so you can use that and it can be a very, very helpful thing. So like with some of my trending video content on the mom of teens and the salty mom, I'll use B-roll of my kids in their natural habitat, right? Which is, eating or chilling or whatever they want to do, right? And it goes really well too with that kind of content. So just a little pro tip. Okay, number 2 on our checklist. Write this down. You got to cut out the middle, the lulls. You got to get rid of the section where your viewers are literally checking out. How do you know where this is? Okay, it's very, very simple. You're going to go into your insights. You're going to look at your videos, right? And you're going to see how long your viewers watch that video. If you've got a 10-second video and they're checking out about second number 3, 5, or 7, go look and see what's happening right there. That's your lull. In your next video, cut that out, right? And you're learning everything about what you need to know, and it's going to teach you. Or you could just literally take that video, remake it, shorten it, get rid of that lull, and pop it back up there and see how it does and how it performs, right? This is all about testing and trials and seeing how things work to get the best result for you, okay? So we've got to cut those lulls out. Insights are the best way to see that, okay? That's a pretty easy one, so we're not going to spend a lot of time camping there. We're going to keep moving along. So the next thing on their checklist is the payoff. You cannot sit there, and I can't say to people, hey, to all the teens out there who are being raised by 80s babies who grew up in the 90s, we didn't have curfews, we didn't have cell phones, our parents couldn't spy on us on social media, and then nothing. My audience would be like, what? What are we saying to all of them? The payoff is, how's Life 360 treating you? Right? That's where I catch them. That's where I instantly grab them, and I fulfill that promise that they are going to gain insight or entertainment from my video. So the payoff is super important. We all know we have sat there and we've watched the videos, and they grab us with a really great hook or something really visually pleasing. Like the other day I was watching this guy scoop ice cream off the side of the bucket, and it was rolling and there were sprinkles and it was perfect and it was so satisfying. And then it was done. And there was like nothing. And I'm like, well, they hooked me. And then I was mad because there was like nothing at the end. It was just the scraping off the side of the barrels. I'm like, well, that was lackadaisical. That was not that cool, right? So I didn't go follow that account. But if you get me through the end and there's a good payoff, man, I'm going to go follow you because I want to see more of your content because it's entertaining, right? And I am a creator, but I also like to consume content. Guilty, right? Okay, so payoffs are super critical. Those need to happen about halfway through the video, or what's going to happen is the lull is going to kill you. Your video is going to end up in failure in Instagram land. And we've all been there and we've all had that happen. It's not the greatest, but it does happen. So don't worry. Okay, the next thing on our list, number 4, is relatability. The reason that my snarky, salty mom of teens, single divorced mom of 3 videos do so well is because it's highly relatable to a lot of people, right? Who do you know that does not have Life 360 on their kids, or at least have an opinion about it? That's the thing about it. I don't care if you have it or not. You probably at least have an opinion about it, right? And that's what gets people talking. So you've got to make sure that whatever your short form video is about is relatable to a large audience. So how do you figure that out, right? You're going to go search your hashtags. So mom of teens, it had a lot of relation. Single mom, girl mom, divorced girl mom, divorced single, girl mom. Those had a big audience. So I knew that there was a pretty big test pool of people that if I had a good hook and a good payoff, that video would get some circulation. And I was right. It did. It paid off. So the relatability was there with that, okay? So if you're cooking and you're able to make really yummy looking food, fantastic. That's relatable. If you have a really cool skill, like maybe you have like these super great hacks where you clean your house with like vinegar and toothpaste and you make things really clean and it's magical. I don't know. I don't have that skill, but I love to watch those videos, right? Perfect. Then that's going to be something that you can really, really hone in on. Make sure you have a good hook. Make sure you have a good payoff, right? And then that video has a lot of relatability. People are going to relate. They're going to watch it. Okay. And TikTok and Instagram is going to feed this to that niche, which is really important. Okay. Okay. The next thing on our list, number 5, is shareability. If it is relatable to a large audience, guess what's going to happen? We're going to start sharing it, right? Absolutely. Okay, so I have about 10 girlfriends that we share video content all the time. And I know when I get a video from any of the 10 of them, I'm going to laugh, or it's going to like hit me in the feels, or I'm going to be like, yeah, we ride at dawn. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Because I know my people. And that's what you want. You want to create that like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I can so relate to this story, right? That they're telling. That's really, really, really important. You want to think about the things that you're sharing, right? And that your friends share. And that's the kind of content that it needs to be. If it doesn't have that factor, then it's not going to have that viral component, that it factor, and it's not going to skyrocket to the top and get millions and millions of views, right? Okay. Next up, we have the last thing on our checklist, and that is repeatability. Okay, this is a strategy in and of itself that is so critical that you do. Okay, so I did make the mistake of having my first reel go viral on TikTok. That's the first platform I went viral on. And what happened was I was so excited and I was like, oh, I have a viral reel. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I talked to my coach about it and he said, beat a dead horse. Keep making that same content over and over again and repeating it and doing it, even repost it again. And it's going to keep on circulating. And I was like, and I kind of got this like deer in the headlights look. Okay. So I kind of missed my opportunity there. But then when it happened on Instagram, I'm telling you, I was ready. And that's okay because I really wanted my Instagram to grow. Like TikTok's kind of been fun. Instagram's really what I wanted to put my focus on. I will get back on TikTok, right? I've actually got several more since then that have taken off and I've applied this to. But the cool thing about this is repeatability. You want to be able to repeat the process. So I have taken that same reel, that same hook, and that same payoff that I shared with you earlier about hey teens that were raised by 80s babies in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. How's Life 360 treating you? I have taken and remade that same reel a lot. And guess what? I put different B-roll background of my teenagers doing funny things in the background that I just have because I video them all the time, right? That was easy. I put different trending audios to it. I maybe change up the words just a little bit, post at different times and different days. Guess what? They go crazy again. They go crazy again. I've got several renditions of them that have gone viral all on their own. And here's why. Because the algorithm saw that it was good content, and so it kept feeding it, and it kept feeding it. And because it was just different enough, it hit home. People don't remember what they shared last week. They just remember that it was funny. Well, then you do another one, it's a little bit different the next week. They share it again because it hits a nerve, it's funny, and they're laughing all over again. They probably don't even remember because they've looked at 1,000 reels since then, right? And laughed and cried and like been empowered by all of them. Does that make sense? So you've got to make sure that when you have one that's performing, that you go in and you repeat the process in a really similar way over and over, because that's going to really drive your algorithm. It's going to get you all those people to come in and start following your account. In the meantime, sprinkle in stuff in between, right? In between the repeatable process that makes sense and that sticks to your micro niche so that you have content in there for them to still look through when they come look at your page. But don't be afraid to beat the dead horse per se. Those are the words that my coach taught me. Okay. So I'm going to regurgitate them because I thought they were brilliant and it actually works. It's a crazy strategy. It seems almost too good to be true, but it really works, okay? And you're still bringing in followers. You're still getting more content to go viral. You're getting more visibility. There was one point in the last 3 weeks where I had 2 million people viewing my Instagram account over the last 30 days. And I was getting between 20 to 100 new followers a day. And I'm still getting new followers every single day from those reels. And I keep producing more. I keep producing more. I keep producing more. And guess what? It's keep on feeding me followers. It keeps feeding myself in the algorithm. It's like once you start, you're on that uphill tick and you can really keep going, but you've got to keep this checklist in mind so that content keeps rising. Does that make sense? Okay. So last off, I promised you that I was going to teach you how to sell in your stories while you have a reel going viral. Okay, this is so important. Okay, there's no point in getting a viral following if you can't sell to the people that you're getting visibility from. Like, okay, it's great, you have a following, but unless you're making money from it, it's not that cool, right? I know a lot of influencers who have millions and millions of followers, but they're making like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I have a smaller following with a lot of viral content, and I'm making a really nice six-figure annual income, right? So it does matter to be able to convert those audience members to customers, okay? And here's how you're going to do it. Here's one of my favorite strategies. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what this looks like. So stories are a perfect resource to put a little bit of a conversion, a buyer's conversion into when you've got something circulating. Why? Because stories expire. They expire and they go and they come and they go and they come. So you're going to want to put one up every other 24 hours. So you're going to let your 3-slide story go up, let it expire, and then you're going to put another one up. Does that make sense? You don't want to keep piling them on top of each other. That's an old thinking. The first thing you're going to want to do is a really good impact swipe. Okay, it can just be an organic picture of yourself that you throw some words on. For me, I can always put a picture of myself up and it'll get the attention. Why? Well, because my face is my brand, right? I have some colors that I stick to. It's kind of a beigey white kind of tone. So here's what my first impact story swipe said. It said, want to learn how to make an extra $2,000 a month working only 2 hours or more a week. That's a pretty good, that's a pretty good one-liner. And it was accurate. Like, I could fulfill that promise. That's part of my sales model, right? And I actually got 23 customers from this story swipe while my content was going viral. So FYI, this works. Then the next one says, who wants my simple formula for free? So I was going to give them kind of exactly the outline of what I do, the what, not the how, okay, of what I'm doing to make that extra $2,000, because extra $2,000 is a lot of money to people right now. Again, put a picture of myself. I put a little, like a little poll or a little question box, and I'm pointing down to it, right? It's just pretty simple. There's nothing too fancy about it. I used a Snapchat, used a good filter, so it looked like I had some makeup on because I didn't have time to put my makeup on, and boom, I had a story swipe, okay? Screenshotted it, clipped it, threw that over the top. Added some music. Easy, okay? Took me 5 minutes. The next thing you're going to want to do, the last step, is you're going to want to include social proof. This is easy. Go to somebody that has been a part of your system that has had good results and ask them to write you a quick little testimony. I had one of my clients write me up a testimony. Her testimony said, I've been able to make my mortgage payment and I just started. This strategy is absolutely amazing. And so I posted on there, this is from a friend who used my simple formula. What would you do if you had an extra $2,000 next month, right? Guess what? My DM started filling up with people wanting to know about what I did, right? About what my secrets were, right? Wasn't that hard. I had it. It's what I do, right? So it doesn't matter if you're trying to, sell coaching, if you're trying to sell the mindset, if you're trying to sell real estate, whatever it is, you can come up with something super chocolatey, right? To grab people's attention. What if I told you that I could help you get into a 3-bedroom home for, I don't know, something like that. Put your chocolate out there, right? Get people's attention and get them to raise their hands. Then put the question box and then the testimony, right? The social proof. And that, my friends, is how you sell in the stories to get conversations going in the DMs, to get yourself out there and monetize a viral reel, okay? But don't wait for your reels to go viral. Do your reels, do your stories, keep doing it, keep pushing out there, because guess what? Eventually something's going to take off, right? If you hone it in and you really focus on the things that I told you today, it's going to happen a lot faster. But in the meantime, you can still get in front of a lot of people, you can still make a lot of money, right? And you can still build a lot of really great content, and you can still stay working your strategy to make that money online in the meantime while you're working to build it to go viral. So Anyways, again, like I said, I have got a toolbox ready for you. Say you want my hook, say you want the format sheet, you want my toolbox, whatever that means, pretty much the same thing to me. I will get that to you. I'm going to include my email in there as well. You may be interested in having me come into your group or your audience or helping you work with some members at your team. I do some consulting. I would be happy to do this training again for you for free and do more of a Q&A if you would like. Okay, so just holler at me. I've dropped it down below, and I am so excited to see where this takes you, because I know this has been a game changer for me, for the people that I consult with, for my clients, and for really upping the amount of productivity in my business. So I am checking off for today. I'm Krystal Nichols, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again. Bye, friends.
Whew. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to have to watch that again, because Krystal just went through so much that seemed really, really simple. But I'm just like, my head is spinning around all of the things that I probably just need to have a bit more of an intentional think about. So let us know in the comments what you guys thought. We do have the link to Krystal's hooks template in the description, but definitely drop the word either format, toolbox, or hooks if you would like them, and we will get that link to you, or get Krystal to hop in here and provide those resources for you. If you would like to take her up on her offer to do the training in this training in your community, definitely let us know in the comments as well, and we will make sure that you get introduced and you can get that organized. I mean, I think this is going to be, this training is really, really timely, because next week, the theme for the 21-day Content Habit Challenge is going to be 21-day Content Habit Challenge is going to be doing a vertical video. So just a little bit of a sneak peek there. So that's going to be the opportune time for you to test out Krystal's strategy. Obviously, if you are super excited to give it a go, definitely don't wait for that. But you will have dedicated time next week to give that a go. And of course, you'll have access to Capture to be able to, find your clips and see what works in terms of B-roll, but also maybe some hooks as well. So this has been really, really awesome. We'll be back on Thursday for another expert session. It's going to be with Joe Casabona, and he's going to be talking about how he's turning his 20-minute live stream into 20 pieces of content. That's going to be really, really great. So that's going to be happening on Thursday, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, we will be inside of the group supporting you as you complete this content I keep saying Hobbit. 21-day Content Habit Challenge. I must have Lord of the Rings on my mind, but we'll be there supporting you. So we'll see you inside of the group. Definitely share all of your questions, all of your wins in there, so that we can celebrate with you. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you hopefully on Thursday for the training with Joe. All right, take care. Bye.